Hi, everybody. This is the baseball height, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, the Hut, and welcome back to the Baseball Hut, too. And hope you like this video and subscribe. I like it, and I know people like it. When I really go after the media on this channel, particular WFAN, this little Baseball Hut 2 is more of a New York channel, to be honest with you. It's more of a New York channel, and I do a lot of different videos. I did a video on the Giants. I do a lot of stuff on really all the teams, but I want this to be real New York centric in that I talk about the media here in New York. I have a lot of fun here, so then I can sort of go ape shit, go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs here, say whatever I want. Kind of on their channel, I got to be very focused in what people want, but this is a little bit different. I have a little more fun here, but here, and I like making the media uncomfortable. Now, I would mention social media is a big thing these days, if you didn't know. So when you do these videos, you never know who's going to watch and where this, what your influence is on YouTube. I would mention that my Mets channel, the Baseball Hut, the big channel, I have over 4,000 subscribers. And I'm hoping to get to 5,000. But the reality of that channel is that channel is probably, I think, the most influential Mets YouTube channel on this platform with Mets fans and with certain members of WFAN. I've noticed that some of the things that I was saying in May about how poorly the Mets were playing, some of that language was sort of seeping into the media right after that. Now, I would mention I'm not associated with Odyssey or CBS Sports, which WFAN is involved with. I know that there's several other channels, one in particular that does business with CBS. He's got a Mets channel. He's the quote-unquote popular Mets channel, most views. But I have over 1 million views on this channel. This is not a tiny little channel, in spite of the low number of subs I have on there. And I have this second channel. And I'm not associated with the 7 Line, which another channel is associated with. I don't do business with the Mets. I am a Mets fan. So I like to defend the Mets when I feel that it's necessary, because I'm a Mets fan, and I'm tired of hearing about how when the Mets do something right, it's always wrong by the media. Mets don't do anything right, according to them. And when they do something right, it's always wrong. So here we have a situation where WFN has been going after the Mets for years. And I've been sort of talking about it actually for 3 years, going after them. But now that this channel, I'm able to do a little bit more focused. Now, we have a new program on the middays called with Brandon Tierney and Sal Licata. Now, Sal Licata, as you know, if you've seen these other videos that I've done, Sal Licata said that Pete Alonso, and inferred that Pete Alonso was toxic in the Met clubhouse, and that he was part of a big problem going on there this year. Well, his partner, Brandon Tierney, is not a Mets fan. He's a Yankees fan. He's Yankees scum. And he's got a bit of a bad attitude. He's got a nasty attitude. He's very angry. All these guys are extremely angry on the air. And most of them, I don't think they're very sincere about the things they believe in when they talk. I know Licata's not sincere because he has a different attitude when he's on SNY doing his show on there. He won't wear a paper bag on the air there. It'll be ridiculous. He'll wear it on the air on a radio show. Well, they like attacking the Mets, and they've been attacking the Mets' core of players. Brandon Nimmo, they haven't gone after yet. Francisco Lindor and Pete Alonso and Jeff McNeil, they've been attacking them. Nimmo's a little bit different because he's sort of, he's sort of always smiling, always playing hard. Now, Lindor is making a lot of money, $340 million plus. I have criticized him over the really since the Mets made the deal for him. And I think it's taken him a long time to adjust playing here. He didn't have a good first season here. He played well last year. But the big issue with him is being able to do well against the Braves. And he didn't do a good job last year and this year in the last month and a half. That last year, and obviously this year, he didn't have a good June. He didn't do well against the Braves. I've been very, very critical of him. I would say that he has had a very good season. And I feel like his attitude, his positive attitude, has been a real plus the last 2 months. That this team his attitude the moment they made all these trades, he wasn't angry. He said we're gonna do what we need to do to become a good franchise, a good organization. It's very admirable the way he has conducted himself over the last 2 months. So I give him props for those things. That is leadership. And he's played really well down the stretch. While everything has been terrible here, nobody's going to the ballpark. We've had a lot of bad rain here. My goodness, the rain we had here on Friday was just horrible. Couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do anything. But Lindor recently has reached a milestone that very few players have ever done. And up until 1987, only 2 players have ever been players that have had over 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases. Bobby Bonds, who did it a few times, and the great legendary Willie Mays when he was with the Giants. 87, Mets had 2 players that did it, Howard Johnson and Darryl Strawberry. Howard Johnson did it 3 times in his career. Darryl did it once. And, of course, I think in 2007, David Wright did it. So it's a very unusual kind of statistical anomaly that we don't see too often. We've had some 40-40 men. We have what's going on with down in Atlanta with Acuna Jr. He's a 40-70 man, which is no one's ever done that. Brandon Tierney, who, like I said, is a Yankee fan, is not impressed. So this is from Odyssey.com. BT says Francisco Lindor's 30-30 season feels hollow. Did nothing to impact Mets season. Francisco Lindor launched 3 home runs in Wednesday's doubleheader against the Marlins, become just the 4th player in Mets history to log a 30-30 season. Now, he is 4 RBIs away from 100 RBIs for the season. He's had an excellent statistical year. Okay, and that cannot be dismissed under any circumstances. Still, Brandon didn't come away too impressed. Instead, wondering where this production was when the Mets needed it most. Now, I don't necessarily disagree with that. But this is a complete total contradiction, which you get from WFAN, which you get all day. I think they talk so much, they don't know what the hell they're saying half the time. Listen, 30-30 is legit. Problem is, it's hollow, BT said. It really did nothing to impact the Mets season. I don't know how anybody can possibly dispute that. Now, I would mention, Mets had 2 players that had 30-30 in 1987. Mets didn't go to postseason in 1987. So I guess those aren't legit. In 1989, Howard Johnson did it again. Mets didn't go to postseason. In 1991, Mets didn't go to postseason. Hojo did it again. David Wright, Mets went to postseason in 2000, didn't go to postseason in 2007. He had 30-30. So why are those hollow? Well, according to him, those 5 other times that the Mets did it are hollow. The 2 points when the Mets, that's what he says, 2 points when the Mets were falling apart, imploding, and fading into baseball oblivion, Lindor was a complete 0. When they were hemorrhaging in May, he hit 227. When they were basically drowning in June, he hit 230. Anything else to me is revising what actually transpired. When the Mets still had a season, Francisco Lindor stunk. I don't necessarily disagree with that. But let's point out a couple of things about Brandon Tierney. He's a Yankees fan. Again, I have a football channel called Football Hut. I get these sort of, I follow them on Twitter, WFAN, and they put all these Odyssey comments out, these Odyssey articles out, just highlighting what's going on with different shows. And Tierney said in the offseason for the football Giants that the Giants should not re-sign their quarterback, Daniel Jones. He said the Giants should let him go. That the Giants would be better off not signing him to a 4-year contract, a long-term deal. Well, the Giants signed him. But in the meanwhile, as he said, the Giants shouldn't sign him. About a week or 2 later, he said the New York Jets should sign him. Well, that he would be great for them. Well, it's funny, and this was before they got Aaron Rodgers, the legendary quarterback. But funny thing is he said the Jets should sign Daniel Jones. Well, he's a Jets fan. You didn't know that. So Tierney doesn't want him on the Giants, but I'll take him for his team. Let me tell you something about Brandon Tierney. Brandon Tierney would beg God to get a player like Francisco Lindor on his team to play shortstop because they do not have a shortstop. I don't care what Anthony Volpe is as a player. He did not show much as a defensive player. I know they got Oswaldo Peraza. They thought he was so good, he would be playing shortstop every day. The Yankees thought he was good. He has not played shortstop. I would mention about the Yankees farm system. They're 21st out of 30 teams in terms of their rankings. Now, let me get back to this article. So that tells you the contradiction of Tierney. Tierney was, well, the Yankees should get it. I guarantee he would say that. Lindor hit 228 with a slightly above average 742 OPS through May and June, when the Mets were spiraling towards an improbable outcome of being trade deadline sellers despite their historic payroll. Since the sell-off, Lindor has posted an 835 OPS, or batting 8,289, a stark improvement. Still, Lindor sports an exceptional glove at shortstop and put together another impressive offensive season. And the Spaz, Sal Licata, says that should be recognized. Lindor should have been an all-star. I agree with that. He should have been on the all-star team. And he should get the gold glove. It's my opinion. Sal continues, he's had 156 games played, over 100 runs scored. He has the average up to 254. Plays every game. He has 30 home runs, 30 steals, 96 RBIs. That's a good year. You take those numbers in total next year. He's one of the best shortstops in the game. I think, and I'm going to be very honest. I'm very honest here. He's probably the best shortstop in the National League. And it's not eating crow. I'm glad that he's on the Mets. I said that the Mets should trade him. At this point, they shouldn't. They'll never be able to replace those numbers now. And I thought I thought last year was a career year. His average was a little bit higher last year. His OPS was under 800. I haven't checked the numbers for him in terms of OPS, but he is a great defensive shortstop. I've said that many times. He's great. I mean, just unbelievably consistent. His arm, which did not look good 2 years ago, it has improved. He has gotten good with his arm. His arm strength is there. I'm very pleased that he's the shortstop, and I hope that he continues to be here. But you do not denigrate a milestone for a player that really starting his career here with the Mets did not get off to a good start. One of the many issues here with the Mets is they need another everyday player that is on the level of Lindor and Alonso, if not a little bit higher than them. They get a guy like that, it would really fill out this lineup greatly. That is a major problem for this team, and they're going to have to address it, as well as improve the overall pitching on this team. Francisco Lindor obviously is not going anywhere, but I thought this was very disrespectful to the work that he has done this year for the Mets, and this is par for the course that you get here at WFAN on the Fan, and this cue ball, these two cue balls in the morning. When you put their heads together, they make an ass, and they say a lot of stupid things. And one guy's a Met fan. I don't know where he's coming from, and the other guy's a Yankee fan, which I know where he's coming from. I would mention the Yankees are not going to postseason, by the way, for the first time since 2014, something like that. So I want to thank you all. 2016. I want to thank you all for coming by. Please subscribe to the Baseball Hut too. Hit the subscribe button before you go, and I'll see you later.